What's going on my screen here? Oh, I look like a ghost here. What's happening? Is this there we go? That works better, I think. Yeah. Okay. What's going on? It's Josh. Welcome to the Clarity Cafe, and I've got my wingman Miles here. We are live with you, and say hi, Miles. Yeah. Mm, that's it. So there we go. Introduction by Mr. Miles. So yeah, so that's what this is going to be about tonight. I've got a brand new guide. It is available. I'll talk more about it in a little bit. This is it. If you haven't already accessed it, it's 29 pages of just how to navigate yourself, right? How to navigate your home, your environment, planes, trains, cars, all of it. There you go. You can see that. It's a PDF document. You'll be able to download it from Gumroad. And really it just everything from non-native emf, wi-fi, blue light technology, all of those things that just cause a whole host of issues, and most people don't really recognize how those issues affect you, especially for the women in the audience. Okay, if you're watching this on the replay, if you have any questions, comments, drop them below. Send me a comment. Let me know if there's something that I didn't clarify, or if there's new information, let me know. Right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share. I did a little presentation about this, so you're going to get to see what's really happening here. And I'm going to share. Let's do this here. So it's going to be the entire screen, and yeah, let's do that. So let me show you right now, entire screen. Yes, can I do that? Also share system audio. Yes, I want to do that. Why isn't it letting? Oh, here we go. I got to do that. Okay. So, oh, that's not it. Bummer. I thought that was it, but it's not. Okay, stop sharing. I'm not going to do the entire screen. I think we tried this before, but it didn't really work that way. So it's a window, and that's what I'm going to share. So let's see if I can do. Nope, that still didn't work either. Why is that? Let's see. Can I do that? See, I don't know what you can see on your end. That's the problem with this. Okay, let me try this. Chat is disabled. Why is chat disabled? I didn't disable. Oh, gosh. There's always something with this. Um, how do I go back in and thumbnail? Click to add a screenshot. Describe your feedback. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, come on, man. No, that's not it. Um, Give me a second here while I work out some issues. Use default overlay. Set up an overlay for your brakes. No. Just when I think I've got it all figured out, you don't have access to this feature. Settings, manage. It's not letting me do that, and I don't know why. I can't send feedback. I cannot edit. What's this? Customization. Yeah. Um, yeah, I don't understand why I don't have the comments. The comments are disabled, which I don't understand, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to get on with the presentation. So let me do that right now. The biological effects. Here we go. We're going to show this, and I'm going to step out of this for a minute. Um, so this is it, the biological blueprint. And the biological blueprint of you, right? What's going on with you during your day, from the moment you awaken to, you go in, you get your coffee, your tea, your brekkie, do whatever you do, you get your car, unless you work from home, you go to the office. And so all the different areas, places, and spaces, all these different environments where you are affected by wireless technology, blue light, non-native EMF, dirty electricity, cloud technology, okay? And how that affects your biology. So that's what this is really about. let me go into this. You won't see me on screen as I go into this. Um, yeah, I'm just going to go into it here, share, and then I can just, yeah, show you. So a field guide to reclaiming your invisible environment. Okay. And this is all based on this guide that you'll see in the description. You can grab the guide, but we'll get into that in a little bit. All right. So uncover, discover, and release the non-biological interference disrupting your cellular communication, sleep, and your sovereignty, right? The invisible war for your biofield. Okay. Does this look familiar to anyone? Right? The problem, right? And the solution. So the problem is your biofield is your primary residence, the invisible sort of infosphere. And there's an app that I'm going to link in here. And Miles, you can remind me to put it in here. It's called The Architecture of Radio. Okay. Have you heard of that, Miles? Do you understand how the app works, what it does? Completely. And actually, let me see if I can find it. I do have it on my phone. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. Yeah, here it is. So this is it. It's called The Architecture of Radio. If you can see it here, I don't know if you can, but because I'm showing the thing here. So I'm going to just pause this for a moment and show this to you. Stop sharing. We'll come back. Let me come here, right? Okay, so this is it. So what you're seeing is a representation here, okay? This is the architecture. Whoops, let me go this way. The architecture of radio. This is what it looks like. So if you've never seen what the energy field looks like, that you're this soup, right? So it shows and it's changing, right? And there's actually sound that goes with this, okay? And you can see it's got cell towers where they're at. And this is just in my space right here, right? I can hold it up, do all different types of things, but it's crazy, right? It's called The Architecture of Radio, okay? And you can grab it. It's an iOS or whatever the other devices are, but you can grab this. And that's how crazy this is. And there's actually sound to this too. So I can put So that's what it looks like. So even though it's invisible, it's not invisible, right? And that's why I use Wim Hof and I get high on my own supply. It's all breath work, baby. Breath work helps to purge a lot of this distortion that you're seeing out there. All right, let's get back into the slide share. I'm going to get going with that. Blah, 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 where are we? Here we go. That's it. Okay. So, all right. So, as I said, your biofield is your primary residence. Right now, there's an invisible war for that real estate, for your real estate. Light, electromagnetic fields, and digital signals dictate how your cells function. Hormones fluctuate and energy flows. When you feel drained despite doing everything right, it is often because your field is occupied by non-biological interference. And I'll say it again, ladies, you guys get hit quite a bit. And I will have a document, actually another digital product, all about hormones, because I'm sure you're spending, I'm not all of you, but many women who are premenopausal, menopausal, they're going nuts because they're trying to figure out their hormones. They sweat, they put on weight, they lose weight, they can't sleep, they're hungry, they're not hungry, they're moody, right? Well, we can get into that, but it has a lot to do with maybe your environment, where you sleep, your electrical devices, your wearables, right? Do you wear all these things on your hands, on your wrist, wherever all of it. It wreaks havoc on your metabolic functions, lymphatic system, way worse than it does guys. It affects guys too, but much differently and more profoundly. Okay. So just make note of that. So the solution, the 3-second fields reset, your highest frequency, just like food, before entering a higher interference space or eating a meal. Pause, ground your physical body, right? Breath. That's it. You just got to get the breath going because you're changing what's called your BPR, your base pulse rhythm. Everyone else is running at a certain frequency, but when you slow your breath and you become, as I like to say, bring presence back to the present moment, because that is the gift, the present moment. Okay. And then you ground. If you can get your feet, your hands. Okay. I'll show you something else, right? You're running frequency. You have voltage. Okay. This isn't the best example, but this is like a little kid's toy. You can find this on Amazon. Okay. Put my hand here and can't hear it. All right. Yeah. But so you're conductive. And so, you can disperse the energy that you pick up from other people and other places and spaces. Okay. So just breath can bring grounding to you and help to, flush out that buildup, because you accumulate that buildup, getting some salt, standing on some salt. If you're by the beach or if you're at home, get some Celtic some sea salt, put it in a bowl, stand on that salt for like 15 to 30 minutes, and it'll disperse your energy. Okay. That's my little tip for you, folks. All right. Smart technology versus biological sovereignty. And it's not smart. That's the acronym. So it's self monitoring, right? The acronym collects data without full awareness, monitoring, constant surveillance of location and your biometrics, what you're moving, what you're looking at. Like when I'm done with this and with my phone, covers go on my phone, both front and back. My phone, when I'm done with it, goes in a Faraday bag, right? So I'm minimizing the effect of any type of connection. If I'm using anything, if I've got to do a connection, you'll see all of this information I'm talking about is in this digital guide that I've created, and it's in the you'll see it in the description. Everything's covered, pretty much everything. And when you purchase the guide, any updates, any new information gets added free. So you'll get an email notification that there's new information, absolutely free. Okay. All right. So monitoring, analysis, data processed in the cloud to predict behavior. R for reporting, data shared across third-party platforms. And T for targeting, profiles built to influence you on demand. Smart technology, technology, right? So the paradigm shift matrix: digital compliance, biological sovereignty. Which one? Artificial energetic environment, information overload, attention fragmentation, circadian disruption. And like I say, if you ever watch me on my TikTok lives, you can watch every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at Josh Intuitive Guide, GYDE. I'm going to be going, well, I'm changing the time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But one of the things that I talk about is, if you're not going to be present, right, in your body, that something else will be. Okay. The fragmentation and people that are scrolling. That's the point I want to make. Most people are scrolling. So when you're scrolling, most people are looking for they're looking, but they're doing it unconsciously. So I equate it to dollar bills, right? So every time you scroll, $100, $100, $100, you're depleting your energy. So when I work with people as a multiclear medium, I usually see people in their fields. There's it almost looks like each person's different, but it looks like almost like a cosmic energy, like empty, full. I can just gauge your field by just looking at your energetic field. And if you're around a lot of technology, there's usually like a very like a scatter field that's around you where your auric field it's been penetrated, it's been shattered. Okay. And that's what these electromagnetic fields do. So when you're on technology, whether it's on the computer, on your phone, a tablet, whatever, and even on your wearables, those things are the worst thing. They create reactive oxygen species. They eat up the oxygen in your bloodstream. They're the worst devices in the world. Get rid of them. The wireless things in your ears, you look like a Borg. Get rid of them. Get wired headphones. I'll give you links for all this stuff. Again, they're in the guide. Everything I'm talking about is in the guide, right, Miles? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so yeah. Exact. Just like Prince said, right? Prince said, "You can use a TV, don't let the TV use you. You can use a phone, don't let the phone use you." So simple words, yet so profound and timeless, right? All right. So biological sovereignty, intentional boundaries, data ownership, deep restorative rest, alignment with Earth's natural rhythms. Now we call that the Schumann resonance. I'm on the fence with all of it. I mean, there's a lot of science and data, but science and data from humans doesn't always convince me of anything. Again, it's intuition, feeling, discernment, emotion. That's kind of the way that I have led my life. Not saying that's what you have to do, but that's kind of the way I rock it. So non-compliance, right? This is what we're talking about, is a biological necessity. To stay in your body, you must reject the constant monitoring of your field. Okay. So here we go. The invisible infrastructure. And if you guys are just joining and you don't see the comments, something happened where I didn't activate it. But if you have any questions, you can DM me, drop them in the comments after the video or on the replay. I will respond to you within 24 to 48 hours if you have any questions at all. The invisible infrastructure, cloud and wireless load. So hey, we're all hearing all this new about these data centers, right? If you see on my TikTok, I did something where I showed like the inside of a library. And I said the original, it's not mine. I found it somewhere on, like, I was searching the original data center, right? Books. Get a solid book in your hand. Get a guide in your hand. The invisible environment, right? Because this is going to help you. It's going to provide insight, awareness. And when you have awareness, then you can take care and do everything. All right. So data centers and satellites. So let's get into this. The cloud tax. Storing files remotely requires 24/7 server infrastructure, massive energy consumption, and constant data transmission. Impact brain fog. Who doesn't have that? Hello. Nervous system stress. I'd say a pretty large portion, people are getting demyelinated, right? Their nervous system. They're taking every type of supplement to try and recalibrate, redirect, realign, redefine, and connect with the divine, right? And, I always say, start with nature first. If you can, get outside, get grounded, connect with nature, get the sunlight in your eyes, AM sunlight. Again, I'm wearing blue blockers because of this, right? Late at night, blue light, I don't feel right. Okay. Data centers. So the physics of protection, moving past woo. Ooh, this is all woo, woo woo. No, this not woo woo. This real woo. Like whoa woo. Moving past woo into physics, we rely on the Faraday effect. Yes, we do. John Faraday. There's a book. Do I have that book? Where is that book? Oh my gosh, I got to find that book. It's a great book by John Faraday, who invented the Faraday cage. Do I have that book here? Let me see. Oh, that's such a classic. Yes, here we go. The Faraday twins. Boom. This book right here. Great book. Okay. This is the guy that invented the Faraday cage. So great book. I'll add that here for you guys to check out. All right. Conductive materials, aluminum, chaff, metallized glass, physically scatter and block incoming non-biological waves, allowing you to engineer true frequency sanctuary. Now I'm going to throw a little monkey wrench into this because I've talked about it previously. And that is the fact that tattoos, and I'll do a whole presentation on that. Tattoos, you are drawing those frequencies. If you have tattoos, you're sitting in an office or a soup of this shit, you're drawing it because the tattoos have titanium dioxide. They're a magnet for all of this stuff. I'm not saying go rush to your latest laser, get dermabrasion. There's things that you can do, but just so you know, if you're planning or you're thinking about getting a tattoo, I think before you ink. That's my phrase. Okay? Really. I'm just saying. Right, Miles? You want to touch on that real quick? Yeah. Yep. And yeah. And the thing of it is you're a metagalactic amplifier. As you've heard me say when I go live on my TikTok page, I talk about this. We're multidimensional beings. Okay, a lot of the work you see either here or on my TikTok, I talk a lot about Ashiana Dean, Keylontic Science. She's someone I don't put anybody on a pedestal, but I've been a practitioner, or I wouldn't say follower. I've aligned with this body of knowledge, but it triggered my memory from other lifetimes. Okay, that's why I know for me, this is just, there's nothing else on planet Earth that I've come across that even holds a candle to the work. But the reason I bring it up is because it talks about who we are as multidimensional angelic human beings. Okay, we're not just here and then we cross over and that's it. It's like your cells, your fascia, all of your compound pharmacy, all of the hormones align and help you to connect vertically. It's all you, right? So if you've got all this extraneous interference, well, it's minimizing, demyelinating your neurons, it's short-circuiting you. And when sorry to say it again, but when you get tats, what you're doing is you're affecting your fascia. You're literally disrupting your circuitry board, your cosmic circuitry board. That's it. All right. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to get in measuring the invisible environment. So these are just some devices, right? I've in the guide that I have, there are links to those. They're affiliate links that I've provided, but these are companies that I've done research on. Some of them are on Amazon, but they don't have to be. You don't have to get the hippest, slickest, coolest, latest one. I have a Cornet trifield meter, which is good for ULF, for RF frequencies. Some of them are pretty pricey if you got a big home and you've got some compromised areas. One of the things that I do with clients that I work with, I am sort of my own um, Geiger counter. So I've done things before a handful of times. I'm putting together a whole protocol, but you can hold your phone. We can be online and you can walk through your home or your environment, or your office, wherever. And I can kind of feel energetically through the phone what's blocking. It's kind of like cosmic feng shui is what I offer. So if that's something you're thinking about, reach out to me. We'll talk about it. But a lot of times people have that. There's geopathic stress. Okay, so that could be where you live, or the room or wherever is over ley lines, the Earth's grids, and there could be conjoining ley lines that cause negative effects. Like there's even with something that's called jump conduction. So say you have a mattress in your bedroom or wherever, and it's got metal coils and it's next to an electric outlet. Well, you've got jump conduction. So you've got this radio frequency or dirty electricity going into you in your most sacred place in space, right? Your bed. So, and most people, that's why I say I look at the things unseen and the spaces in between that most people don't consider or would just brush it off as no big deal. So anyway, here are the measuring the invisible environment, right? The air quality, you want to get a dirty electricity meter. There's things in the guide for Stetzer filters, and that can make a truly big difference, especially if you guys have kids. Okay, they're bombarded with this stuff, and their bodies and their biology and neurology are still developing, and yet they've got iPads, they've got phones. No one's really seeing the immediate. I mean, some people do, but nobody really sees the long-term effects of this for your kids, let alone yourself. Okay, so it's major cognitive disruption on an epidemic level. So light spectrum, you can get light spectrum. I'm looking to get one, a light spectrum meter for lighting in your home. Again, all of this stuff is in the guide. You cannot approve what you cannot measure. Awareness is the first step toward intelligent design. Okay. Light is information, the circadian activation curve. So blue light from 460 to about 4, I think it's 480, signals solar noon to the brain, right? We've talked about this before, the SCN, the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Anything after 12 noon tells your brain it's 12 o'clock noon at 4 o'clock, right? So now it throws off, again, ladies, all your hormones, right? You're wondering why you're hungry, putting on weight, losing weight, bingo. You're not outdoors under the canopy of the sunlight in the early rising hours, okay? That is a non-negotiable. One of the guys that I absolutely love, I don't, again, agree with everything, but Dr. Jack Kruse, Kruse. He's a neurosurgeon. He's a self-proclaimed mitochondriac, black swan. He's got a shit ton of info. You can find him on YouTube. I'll throw some links, drjackkruse.com. I don't know what his other websites, but he's got a great book. What is it? The RX Prescription. I'll throw the book in there. You just kind of take what works and try. I mean, I'm sharing information and resources with you guys, and I've got a ton more on my website that are all free resources that will just blow your mind that you've never come across. Okay. So lots of great stuff for you. All right, let's continue. So, signals, screens, LEDs, and fluorescent light spikes cortisol and suppresses cellular repair. So now you're in fight or flight. You're in sympathetic mode. You're not in rest and digest. You got acidity, cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine, right? So, and you can see the hormone levels, they skyrocket, 6 p.m., boom. And here's the wave, right? Melanin repair. Red amber light, 600 to 700, mimics sunset, supports natural melatonin production and deep down regulation of the nervous system. So one of the things I recommend that you get, I'll put it also, I think it's in the guide, but I'll also, Miles can remind me, it's called Iris Tech. You can write this down. You're watching this on the replay if you're listening now. IRISTECH.co, C-O. Daniel, I forgot his name. I believe he's a Bulgarian gentleman. He's brilliant. Created this app on your phone. You can't jailbreak iOS devices, but I don't know what other devices you can use it on, but I have it on my desktop now. And the color temperature reflects like a sunset. So it hits all of the color temperatures of full spectrum sunlight as the sun is setting. So now it triggers, and then I've got like Chromolux. I've got a bulb here in my office, Chromolux full spectrum bulb. But I also have another bulb, which I don't have on now because it's red light, which I probably should put on, but I'm not going to do it right now because that bulb's hot. But you get what I'm saying? I usually have red light in here when I'm not online. Okay. Actionable rules. Replace evening bulbs with, again, incandescent tungsten style. That's the tungsten metal, so it creates heat, right? You can either have candlelight or replace it with incandescents if you can find them. There are places that you can get them, and I'll add a link to another website off of Zon that you can get the original Edison bulbs, okay? Avoid dimmer switches. Now, there are companies that do make the dimmer switches, but because dimmer switches create dirty electricity, okay? Unless verified low EMF standard dimmers create dirty, like right there, I just read that. Total darkness to sleep. All right. So here we go. The blueprint, the bedroom sanctuary. Typically, if you can do this, this is the way it rocks. Your bedroom is like your sacred space. So right out of the gate, pin, right? The lighting, true red amber sleep, friendly bulbs, no LEDs. Now I want to clarify that. Some of these bulbs are LEDs that are available from companies like Blue Blocks. There's a couple companies that I work with. They are the right diode sizes. LED stands for light emitting diode, but most LEDs that you find in houses, they're like pretty much all blue light. When you look at a spectrometer, it's just blue. There's no yellow, there's no orange, there's no red, there's no green. Okay, again, and that affects the hormones. And plus, there's a flicker rate. So you say you're irritable, you have all the labels, ADD, ADHD, all those made up shit, right? And the flicker, if you were to take your phone, you can try this, take your phone, put it in slow mode, videotape a light, and you should see the light flicker. Okay, that's if it's a shitty bulb, like fluorescent lights, okay? All right, back to this. Pin one. So yeah, analog battery operated clock only, no phones, no tablets, nothing. All that shit goes in another room or put it, you know what an artificial Faraday cage is? If you have, I don't recommend it, a microwave oven, throw all your gear in a microwave oven. That's a Faraday cage. Don't turn it on, but that's a Faraday cage. Also your oven. If you put things in your oven, like if you have a laptop, put it in your oven, no signal goes in. As far as I know, I haven't tested it recently. I don't know some of the newer things. That's kind of the MacGyver way of doing it, okay? So again, bedroom sanctuary. It's your sacred space. It's your dream time, right? It's where you rejuvenate, regenerate, recover, okay? If you got all this technology, a big fucking 80-inch TV, blaring blue light, I'm sorry. You're just, you're really doing some serious damage. Okay. Pin 3, the air. Temperature set. You want to drop that temp. Cold. Get a weighted blanket. You will go deep. I do. Right? Weighted blanket. and then drop it to like, 60, 67 degrees. That's 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. Trigger deep sleep phases. Daily ventilation. Pin 4. Okay, so complete blackout curtains. Got those in my bedroom. Not a speck of light comes in. Okay, if you get that, your SCN, the pituitary gland, pineal gland, sees that and stops serotonin, melatonin production. Right? These are your hormones, ladies. Hormones, right? Then you go to these people and you get these, thousands of dollars. We're gonna check your, pass. I'm telling you, you can recalibrate just by getting your ass out in the AM sunlight. And also, if you're in a private space, what? The girls get sun. Guys, the crown jewels also get sun. Testosterone. Yeah. This is the way it works. This isn't rocket science. Just, we've been so domesticated. That's the problem. The bedroom reset. The bedroom is a reset station, not an entertainment center. Hello? Right? Fuck. And get some popcorn, fucking go to bed. Yeah, it's just like, no. Remove the signals, deepen the sleep. There you go. Mitigating dirty electricity in home signals. Module 1. Here we go. I shut the circuits off every night in the bedroom. Okay. Wired. I use a Cat 5, I believe is what it is, Ethernet cable. Very rarely do I use Wi-Fi. Okay. Module 3. Unplug the phantom loads, right? All that stuff creates like a torus field of dirty electricity that spreads. Okay, the Milham, yeah. I have that book, Dirty Electricity. Where's his book? Milham's book. Do I have that here? Oh, where is it? Yeah, here it is, right here. So this is another great book that you want to, and I believe. Okay. This is an easy read. Okay, you want to get this book, and again, it's in the guide. So, whoops, it tells you all about dirty electricity, what to look for, how to find it, how to mitigate it, and watch your physiology, your energy just kind of come back online. I'm telling you, these simple little fixes. It doesn't have to cost you a lot. It really doesn't. When you know what you're doing, you don't have to spend time, and that's what I've done with this guide. I've spent months putting this together, right? I'm saving you time and energy by putting it. It's a consolidated document here, right? Okay. And I think it's in the description link. You can grab it. The first 100 copies are only $20. After that, it goes up to $37. 29 pages of full tilt boogie kick-ass info. And if you know me, I leave no stone unturned. Okay. So we got that. All right, Milham program. Yeah, Dr. Samuel Milham's work under electricity, cleaner current directly correlates to a calmer, more secure bomb. Yeah, right. Sovereign transit plan. Okay, now the caveat to this: if you got an electric car. All right, I know, I can already hear it. Oh man, I just spent 6 figures on a brand new Tesla or whatever, G series. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to break it to you, at least from my perspective. You take a high-end, device. Ladies, are you pregnant? Planning on getting pregnant? Hope you don't sit in one of those electric cars because your amniotic fluid, you're frying your kid. Okay. I'm just saying, this is my experience. You do your own research. Don't believe a word I say, but do your own research. Look at all the shit that's in there. You're in a Faraday cage. You got a big, 12-inch screen, Bluetooth, cloud technology, and God knows whatever else is in that car that they haven't even told you about. Tracking devices, right? We've got these flock cameras, and it's just like, come on. Any car I get, it's going to be a 60s model. I could care less about all this technology, cameras, all these things, sensors. You're getting too close. Signal, driving by. It's like people's own innate abilities, their own, right, Miles? Would you say so? Miles, are you still here? Oh, Miles took off. Let me see if I can bring Miles back on. Miles, I'll do that later. Anyway, but that's what this does. It weakens your own innate abilities, your spatial sense, right? And that's what these, a lot of, what do I want to say? Just when things are made to be easy, they create chaos. Okay. And there's a word it just escapes me at the moment, but that's what this is all. It's creating chaos, right? It's not making your life easier. It's actually making it more chaotic because now you have to rely on technology. You lose the gray matter in your brain because you're not thinking. The prefrontal cortex, all of this stuff is getting eroded slowly. And again, I'm thinking of children, young adults, teenagers who are constantly 24/7 in front of their devices, right? All right. Enough on that. The solvent transit. So you do your own research. Distance is defense. Never stream or rest devices directly on your laptop. Seat beside you. I mean, come on, this is common sense. Common sense maybe isn't so common anymore. Wired audio. Swap Bluetooth, earbuds, air tube, headphones to the car speakerphone or speakerphone to reduce direct head exposure during long calls. Strategic airplane mode. Airplane mode, but you want to get a Faraday cage. Put your phone in a Faraday cage if you're not using it. Okay. Switch to airplane mode. Doesn't really do anything in my experience. Post, it can help. Obviously, it's better than not having it on. Post travel grounding. Whether in a plane, train, car, as soon as you get off a plane, especially on international trips, I don't care where, if it's day or night, you want to have your feet and your hands touching the earth in some way, shape, or form to discharge all the buildup that plane accumulated because you're in a flying microwave oven, okay? And now with planes, you've got routers pretty much under every seat. The only way to ground yourself on a plane, and I've got another guy talking all about air travel, like some really cool shit. Okay, prep, during, and after. So when you're on a plane, the only way to ground yourself is to put your feet on the footrest on the seat in front of you in the back, because all the instrumentation on a plane has to be grounded. So to build up static charge, otherwise it would fry the engines. So you put your feet on the foot pad. You got to make contact. So if you got shoes and socks on that are not conductive, your feet have to touch those, right? Get an alcohol wipe if you're, just clean it and then put your feet on there to ground. Okay, there you go. All right, so there we go there. Where are we at here? Heliotherapy, like I was talking before. That big orange thing in the sky, the Sunplement. Yes, the ultimate supplement. The biological software update. Literally, the sun carries frequencies, signature carries energy that gets transduced through your SCN, your suprachiasmatic nucleus, into your prefrontal cortex, your brain, and throughout your whole physiology, okay? Don't wear sunglasses. No. You ever see Aboriginals, indigenous tribes, Maori, the Hunza? Are they wearing no. They're not in the hip slick, I want to look cool shit, right? It's called SOS, shiny object syndrome. No. They are out under the canopy of the sunlight. They are grounded, connected to the earth. They are talking to the bees, the trees, the seas, everything, okay? Humans in North America, we're indoors under artificial light in front of everything artificial. So we've lost the ability, most of us, it's not something you've lost permanently, but you can regather that information, that connection to nature by going there, grounding yourself. And that will help, again, to disperse this energy. The ultimate bioregeneration tool is completely free. Your body relies on light, not just for vision, but as a primary timing mechanism that synchronizes your internal clock, hormone cascades, and biofield. Ladies, the sunrise protocol. Get outside within 30 minutes of waking, okay? Require 10 to 30 minutes of bare skin, naked, if you can do it, okay? Yes. AM, I don't care if you're pasty white, doesn't matter. You can build a solar callus. Dr. Jack Kruse talks about this. Do it little by little by little. No SPF, silly people factor. Here's the deal. I know you're thinking about that, but anything you put on your skin, you should put on your mouth. So think of it that way. And ladies, again, feminine hygiene, makeup, eyeliner, nail polish, right? If you're going to get all that garbage to get rid of wrinkles, yeah, that's mold. Botox, it's a neurotoxin. I don't care what anybody tells you. Stop. All right. Do not wear SPF. You can use organic carrot seed oil, organic wheat germ oil, organic raspberry seed oil. Those have certain carotenoids that allow for the frequencies of the sun to come in, but yet protect your skin. Because think about it, those plants, those things are under the canopy of the sun, and they secrete certain oils to protect them from burning. That's why they're green. So, but again, if you eat crappy food, yeast, mold, fungus, again, in this guide, we talk about BDNF, brain-derived nootropic factor, food, certain foods, carotenoids, things that help your skin, help your mitochondria, help your metabolism, support you, right? Okay. Yeah, Josh. Liquid crystal coherence and water stacking. This is a biggie. Chaotic, unaligned, right? Versus coherent crystalline water. So there's devices, again, in the guide, you'll see. The antenna. So what I do, the antenna, the human body is a liquid crystal antenna. It is, okay? And so you're conducting, you're transmitting, you're receiving data. So if the conduction is rusty, if you don't have the right flow, you'll never know, okay? The human body is a liquid crystal antenna. If the water inside your cells is unstructured or chaotic, your biological signal becomes fuzzy, making you highly susceptible to external EMFs. Hydration is about signal clarity, not just fluid volume. And just because you're drinking fluid does not equate to hydration at all. People say, well, I drank 5 bottles of water. Yeah. And you just peed it out and you got no hydration from it whatsoever. So I use what's called the silica protocol. Okay. And this is something very easy that you can do at home. It's very inexpensive. And if you've ever seen all these silica products, right? You want to grow your hair, skin, nails, cartilage, right? All of these things, silica, right? Makes things pliable, soft, right? Supple. Everyone, like women love using vitamin C serums. A lot of them are synthetic. Okay. So I'll get into the protocol in a minute. So we utilize orthosilicic acid derived from food grade diatomaceous earth. You can find a bag of this stuff for like $8. Okay. And I'll give you the protocol. To clear the biological noise, silica acts as an internal structural reinforcement for your connective tissue and cellular hydration, physically upgrading your internal transmission grid. Water stacking, combine high quality filtration, RO, or, there's again, in the guide, some references. I've got some suggestions of things that I use. And structuring elements, creating living water that your cells actually absorb. So let me tell you this method really quick. I don't think I have a document for it, but this is the way it goes. So take notes, record this, stop the video, whatever you got to do a transcriber. So you get a 1 liter bottle. You can get something like this, a little smaller. I've got like, a Voss bottle, glass, clear glass, no plastic. Plastic is spastic. Glass kicks ass. Okay. The only caveat with glass that you got to be careful of are the lids, because these have a plastic liner inside. Okay. So what you can do is clean these lids or get a new bottle, or you can find different types of lids that are silicone I get pretty serious with this shit. Okay. So what you're going to do with the diatomaceous earth, you're going to take maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, throw it in here. You're going to get pure water. If you get spring water, you get spring water. Shake it up. It's going to be cloudy. Okay. It's going to be cloudy. 24 hours, the diatoms are going to sink to the bottom. You're going to have clear water. That's pure orthosilicic acid. That's silica. So what I do is I take that and I pour it off in another bottle, and I do different things, but that in its simplest form is the way to make orthosilicic acid. You don't have to go buy all these bottles of silica that are made in a laboratory. This is all naturally prepared. Okay. The next thing to stacking or structuring the water is I use a device called an analemma wand. There is no other device that I've come across like this one. None. Because once you make the water, they've done all types of testing. The water's coherent and it's irreversible. There's another device that's out there by another brand. All the celebrities and hip, slick, light, love, and clueless people, whatever, are talking about it, but it uses electricity. No bueno. Okay? So sorry to go off on that little rant. I'm sure they mean well. I'm just so tired of like a lot of people just get suckered into like people that are celebrities and athletes and sort of the pioneers and forerunners. And, in my estimation, not really, but that's just me. Okay. The physical EMF detox protocol. Okay, here we go. So, right, the inputs, herbs, and nutrients, chlorella and spirulina. Again, it's like when people talk about meat and dairy, they put it into one lump sum, totally different things. So chlorella and spirulina, I have very specific companies that I work with, that I've vetted, that I know personally. Okay. Milk thistle defends and supports deep liver detoxification. If you've got skin issues, if you've got sleep issues, liver detox. Doesn't have to be anything heavy duty. Okay. NAC, N-acetylcysteine. Yes. Again, I'm not a big supplement. I mean, I am, but I'm not. It just depends on the season and the reason for it. Okay. Vitamin C, get it from foods. Okay. Potent antioxidant supports nervous system, but also B vitamins. Most people have the genetic mutation, the MTFHR. So B12, B6, B9, B7. B vitamins are essential for nervous system. Okay. All right. Outputs, daily practices. Here we go. I just did this today, dry brushing, right? You do it certain ways where you're leading up to the heart from the legs. There's certain protocols. You can find them. If you need me to send you something, I will. A sauna. Get yourself a sauna. I have a company that I work with called Therasage. They have an incredible, it's far infrared and near infrared, but their system for budget friendly, it's really good. It's not a fully enclosed one. It's one where you sit and your head is out, but that's okay. Your whole body, you'll see it in the link. Breath work, right? Wim Hof. I do that. Tumo, Buteyko, block breathing. There's so many apps out there, but just doing breath work, that's like a non-negotiable for me every single day. Early rising, I do some breath work. I do sun gazing, a little stretching, walking, moving the body before I even drink water or have my coffee. Okay, that's me. So CO2 tolerance training to forcefully regulate the nervous system out of sympathetic stress. So I have a thing that I do called afformations, not affirmations, but afformations. And I have another video that you'll see that you can check out that's all about that and getting hypoxic and how you can basically activate the reticular activating system. So you're actually sneaking in programming to your cabeza, right? And change your external hologram. As opposed to affirmation. I am love. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I feel, your subconscious just goes, no, man. No, babe, you're not. Right? So as Chris Walken would say, guys, I do affirmations as I sidestep the subconscious. It's kind of creepy, but it works. Really, if you think about it, well, wait a minute. I don't really think about it. I use my feeling and emotion to make moves, people. Are you making moves? I'm making moves. Okay? All right. Chris, out. The 7-day invisible environment reset. We're almost to the end. Thanks for sticking around. All right. Here we go. Day 1, light and hydration, 20-minute, right? That's it. I'm going to throw this up there for you guys. You'll be able to download this, okay, the slide share. That's my gift to you, okay? Day 1, light and hydration, 10 to 20 minutes outdoor light with 30 minutes of, waking mineral water. You can do structured water. When you first get up, here's the thing. Get up, if you're not going to do the exercise, a little pinch of like some good quality sea salt, maybe red mint or I don't know, something, just not table salt. Just a little bit under your tongue, sublingual, right? Minerals, because your body has been going through the lymphatic system in your brain, detoxifying. That's if you were able to sleep. If you weren't able to sleep, the lymphatic system probably wasn't operational. Okay, so we got the morning hydration, right? 10 to 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes. Yeah, that's a dupe of that. Why is that there? All right, day 2, yeah. So implement strict airplane mode. That's if you're doing that. Day 3, bedroom reset. 4, wired home upgrade, right? We're going to check it, right? Not wreck it, but check it. Day 5, night hygiene. Day 6, transit audio. 7, reflect and refine. Okay. And like I said, when you purchase the document, anytime I have updates, which there will be, because everything's always changing when it comes to technology, I will send you an email. You'll get an email with the update page or pages, absolutely free. So it's a living document. All right. The Sovereign Quick Reference Matrix. Here we go. Bedroom reset, right? No TVs, tablets, phones, analog clock only. You got it, right? You guys should know this right now. Home reset, Ethernet over Wi-Fi, shut off unnecessary nighttime circuits. And I get it. Some people live in apartments, condos. You got people all around you. But look, this is the way you mitigate. Adapt, improvise, overcome. Whatever you can minimize is going to have a better output for you, right? You're not going to be in the soup of shit. Even if you got people above you or below you, there are things you can do to mitigate it. And then if you feel like you're really stressed out, go outside, go for a walk, get in nature, hug a tree. All right. Okay. Daily rhythm, morning or morning, I should say, I call it early rising, grand rising, because we're not at a funeral. So early rising sunlight protocol, hydrate with structured mineral rich water, consistent sleep wake cycle. I highly recommend the NLM one for structuring your water. It's a wand. They actually have a device called an inlay where you can just take, it's called mother water. You put it in there and it literally makes your water coherent instead of chaotic. And I've noticed a difference. I've been using it for now 4 years. Yeah. I travel with it. It's a non-negotiable. Sovereign flow over emergency panic, right? Why do we wait for crisis to take action? Seems to be the human disconnection. Um, Shifting from survival mode to sovereign flow requires consistency, not panic. All right. Spiritual and biological hygiene is a daily practice, not an emergency break. Small, consistent shifts change the environment much faster than intense, unsustainable overhauls. I got to get all this stuff done. I'm like that. Like, okay, finish this. It's like, and then I got to step back and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just chill. Chill, Josh. You're going too fast. You're going to crash, man. That's not cool, right? You won't be able to play the cowbell, right? Who's going to do that in the band? All right. So, yeah, unsustainable, faster than okay. So, awareness creates transformation, knowledge creates choice, choice creates freedom, awareness creates transformation, knowledge creates choice, and oh, that's the twice. What is it print? I drive choice creates freedom. That's it. So we double that. Inner reflection for outer direction. That's it. Full protocols, curated ecosystem, and further guidance. Explore Josh's Wellness Hub. You are the hub. Your body will take care of the rest. There we are, folks. How about them? Right? If you're still here, yeah. All right. Sorry I don't have the comments on, but that's what it's all about. We're almost at an hour here, so I kind of went all over the place. Let's see if I can bring Miles back on. I know Miles dropped out here for a minute, but we'll bring Miles back on. Hey, Miles, sorry about that. Hey, man, I dropped you out. I finished up the slide share, so now we're back here. So we're just covering a little bit of the what happened during the slide share, just talking about your sovereignty, right? Taking care of your internal environment, right? Do you want to comment on? Yeah, yeah, completely. Oh, I don't know. I didn't have the comments, so I couldn't see, but I'm just going to show you guys. So you'll see it here. This is the new doc, the new digital book. They're 29 pages, okay? 29 pages of full tilt boogie kick-ass info. Everything that we kind of went through and then some in the slide share is in the guide. The link to make your purchase. The first 100 get it for 20 bucks, then it goes up to 37. But there's a ton of data and it's a living document. So any updates that I have, you'll get an email notification with those follow-up pages, right? And there's a lot of data, there's resources, there's research I've put in there. And again, like I said, I've done this over like many months. It took me quite a while to put this together. Obviously I used AI with the graphics and stuff because I'm not a graphic designer, but all the creative input, everything is coming from yours truly. So and I'm very proud of it, and I hope you will be too. I'd love your comments. It's on Gumroad, so you can grab it once the video is over. I'll put the link up. And yeah, but if you guys have any questions, I didn't have the comments on tonight, so I don't know what I did. I seem to have these technical glitches. But Miles, you want to talk about it? Because I showed it to Miles. Yeah, the shirt says "Get high on your own supply," Wim Hof. So we do some breath work here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I am. I think so. What's that? I think it's foundational. It's a foundational tool. I mean, I've got many other guides. I've got a lot of things. I actually have, if you go to my beacons page, I have a freebie. It's six signs of it talks about your intuition, how to like tune in with your intuition. And that's a freebie, right? So I'm going to have more. I'm actually going to have some other digital goods. I'm actually going to have some music too pretty soon, designed for like projectors, other projectors in human design. That's kind of a separate thing, but some cool stuff. I've got, I think, some really great things, and I'm also looking for feedback from you guys too. Right? Let me know what's an issue, a problem, a challenge that you have that you've not found a solution for. Let me know. I'll put something together for you. Right? Are you blocked? I mean, is there a wellness, a health challenge that no one really addresses that maybe I may be able to provide do some research on your behalf and for other people that maybe, I don't know, have a similar issue that has not been addressed yet, right? But drop it in the comments, let me know, and I'll happily do research, and put up a video for you, you know? Yeah, yeah, that's it. So the other thing I want to say, there's other videos. There's one that I want to point out that you guys can go to. It's called hypoxia, I think, and affirmations. It's another video, and there's a couple more I still need to upload, which you'll see. You'll get the notification on them. But that pretty much wraps up tonight. I'm excited to see people's response to the digital guide. And once you go through it and check it out, I'd love your review. Reviews help to just promote it, and we'll go from there. But other than that, I think I'm going to call it a night. You know, it's just, yeah. There's so much that there's so much to talk about. And what else? Yeah, the chat. I don't know what happened with the chat directory, man. I just do not know why it got disabled. I have no clue. If I usually have it on, and I apologize for that. The one thing I'm gonna let you guys know that you'll see very soon is my school community. That's coming back online, and I'm gonna make that more of an interactive thing. Like YouTube is great, but school, I'm gonna try and be on there. Like I'm gonna have three tiers. There's gonna be a free tier, a middle tier. They're both gonna, the second and the third will be paid, but it'll be more one-on-one. And I'll go on there every day. I will answer questions. I'll have uploads. I'll have documents, a lot of free stuff, and then some things that are for sale. But it's just, that's my availability, and that's my commitment to you, right? To be of service, to guide, and to provide the most accurate, abundant resources dealing with health and wellness, energy, multidimensional, the things that I love to share with you guys, and provide insight, awareness and guidance, and also the offerings. I've had some sessions, people book sessions, and there's more coming forward with that. So with that, that's what I got. Miles, you got anything you wanna close with? Awesome. Thank you guys. Peace out. Lots of love. Fly low, avoid the radar. I'll see you next Sunday. Ciao for now.